This is the story of how one man rose from Goldman Sachs banker to climate change apocalypse experiment mastermind to World of Warcraft gold magnate to far right-wing propagandist to shadow president. Born in Virginia to patriotic blue-collar Democrats in 1953, Bannon's first political experience was running for student body president at Virginia Tech in 1975. The outgoing president, Gary Clisham, denounced him.
It has in the past been somewhat of a precedent for the incumbent president not to endorse a successor. In this presidential race, some candidates have resorted to such low tactic of misinforming and misrepresenting the student body. I must intervene.
Bannon went on to win the election. Bannon joined the Navy, telling a fellow officer it would look good on his resume because he wanted to go into politics someday. Little record of his time in the Navy exists because of undisclosed issues with the service's personnel archives, but he was stationed in the Arabian Sea, the Persian Gulf, and at the Pentagon. He left the Navy for Harvard Business School. Then, like much of future President Trump's staff, Bannon went to work for Goldman Sachs.
I'm in business with Goldman Sachs. I do things with them. The firm is certainly not the firm it used to be, although it's still one of the building blocks of our capitalist society.
He was with the investment bank only briefly before splintering off his own firm, Bannon & Co., which focused on the media, where Bannon would amass his fortune and also his penchant for propaganda. Bannon executive-produced films like the Sean Penn-directed The Indian Runner. It cost $7 million to make, and made $191,125. That is bad.
Never trust a bear.
An executive who worked with Bannon said he was constantly telling stories about great warriors of the past, like Attila the Hun. Victory at all costs is a dangerous way to look at the world. As part of his payment for brokering a deal between two companies, Bannon got partial ownership of 5 TV shows. One was Seinfeld. A portion of the profits of Seinfeld and its syndication go to Steve Bannon.
And who is responsible for making hate-mongering and fascism popular again?
You are.
Bannon was also director of Biosphere 2, which is not a movie. It was an experiment where humans lived for years inside a giant terrarium in the desert. It did later make it to film as a Pauly Shore movie.
It's been referred to in the past as a planet in a bottle.
Bannon wanted to research the consequences of massive climate change on Earth as if it were an inevitability. He orchestrated a huge change in the path of the experiment, which caused chaos among the scientists. He was pushed out of the project, but then, against scientists' wishes, was brought back as CEO. He brought federal marshals with him to enforce a court order, turning the whole place over to him. His takeover failed, and Bannon resigned, but not before threatening to ram a scientist's safety report down her redacted throat. He did not shove anything down that scientist's throat, but in 1996, he was arrested for domestic violence. Bannon denies these allegations, and they were withdrawn.
Mr. Bannon grabbed his ex-wife's neck, also pulling her into the car. She started to fight back, striking at his face so he would let go of her. She was able to get away from him. She ran into the house with him following her. She was dialing 911 when she got to the twins. Mr. Bannon jumped over her and the twins to grab the phone from her. Once he got the phone, he threw it across the room.
The couple separated a year later. Bannon moved into the spare room of his first ex-wife. Bannon sold his investment firm and made enough money to produce Titus, an adaptation of Shakespeare's Titus Andronicus. It was a critical success, but a total commercial failure. Yet still, around this time, Bannon realized the power of the media.
It's not only not going to get better, it's going to get worse every day.